Hello, sports history fans. This is Joe Ziumba. I'm the host of When Football Was Football here on the Sports History Network. And before we jump into another sports history adventure, let me tell you about this episode's new sponsor. We at the Sports History Network have partnered with Rochester Sports Autographs, the largest JSA authenticated autograph distributor in the United States, where you can get great deals on over 30,000 autographed sports collectibles. Rochester Sports Autographs even have film, music, and other entertainment autographs on the site, so there's really something for everyone. Perhaps you're looking for a gift for Mother's Day already, or Father's Day. Heck, who needs a holiday as an excuse to give a piece of sports history to your loved ones? Or how about a gift for yourself? Today seems like a great day to add to your sports cave, right? But how is RSA able to offer such great deals on JSA authentication, you ask? Well, they do this by making deals directly with athletes, so there are no extra markups, and they choose to pass the savings on to the customer. All orders from Rochester Sports Autographs are top quality and shipped to your door with top authentication and a money-back guarantee. And to make sure RSA knows the Sports History Network sent you, we created a special link for you. All you have to do is head to the following: shoprsa.com/SHN. That's shoprsa.com/SHN to get your piece of sports history today.
It's time for Unpopular Essays on Sports History with your host, Ors Davis.
Question: who invented baseball? On April 2, 1908, Chicago Cubs president Albert Spalding made an announcement of earth-shattering importance to the game of baseball. Spalding was a huge name in the game, having played for over a decade before helping form the National League. Then, player managing his Chicago White Stockings to the championship in the inaugural season of 1876. Not uncoincidentally, that same year, Spalding Sporting Goods, still the sole official supplier of baseballs to the major leagues, was founded. And just prior to the opening of one of Major League Baseball's most exciting seasons ever, Spalding announced the findings of the Mills Commission.
I claim that the game of baseball is entirely of American origin and has no relation to or connection with any game of any other country, except insofar as all games of ball have a certain similarity and family relationship.
Specifically, the commission had discovered that a Civil War general named Abner Doubleday had written the rules for official organized baseball in Cooperstown, New York in 1839. This game of legend would have been played 7 years before the acknowledged first official game between the New York-based Mutuals and Knickerbockers at Elysian Fields in New Jersey.
It certainly appeals to all Americans' pride to have had the great national game of baseball created and named by a major general in the United States Army, and to have that same game played by the soldiers of the Civil War, who, at the conclusion of the war, disseminated baseball throughout the length and breadth of the United States, and thus gave to the game its national character.
It certainly was quite the appealing story for a country bursting with a new patriotic pride espoused by President Teddy Roosevelt. It was also a complete fabrication. The Mills Commission was created almost entirely in response to newspaper articles written by England-born Henry Chadwick, the first great baseball writer and revolutionary statistician. In 1904, Chadwick wrote that the first organized team was in fact that of the Philadelphia Olympic Club. The Olympic played town ball, which
was simply an American edition of the English game of rounders, which I used to play 65 years ago when a schoolboy in England.
Almost from the start, holes in the Doubleday story were easily punched. In 1839, for example, Doubleday was a 20-year-old student at West Point Military Academy, 150 miles away from Cooperstown, New York. Ultimately, 90 years passed before any tangible link between baseball and General Doubleday was found. This by a Civil War historian in 1998, a requisition for baseballs and bats for his troops in training. Still, Doubleday was one of the great diarists of the 19th century, and in some 60 volumes of personal journals covering most of his adult life, plus his known personal correspondence, not a single mention of baseball is ever made. The previous episode of Unpopular Essays on Sports History recounted the aggrandizement of William Webb Ellis, ostensibly the creator of rugby football, albeit incidentally. As with creation of the Doubleday myth, the Webb-Ellis story was a product of a commission of gatekeeper types looking to keep its sport rooted in local tradition. The commission for each discovery based key conclusions on a single eyewitness's testimony decades after the Genesis event took place, where the setting for each instantly gained in international prestige, particularly the village of Cooperstown, since 1937, home to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And in our present day, neither story is widely believed in its country of origin. Artificially created historical events seem to have little sticking power. And by the 100th anniversary of the National League's formation in 1976, the Doubleday story was basically laughable. So, who invented baseball? One answer might be simply no one, which would be to acknowledge the game as a product of accidental evolution and slow standardization of rules, in a uniquely American way even, if the patriotic angle is needed. And the more interesting question might be, do sports even need origin stories? Next time, the greatest sport ever invented. This has been Unpopular Essays on Sports History, a production of the Sports History Network. I'm Oz Davis, thanking you for listening, and tune in a couple of days for another Unpopular Essay.
Hi, this is Joe Ziemba, the host of When Football Was Football, here on the Sports History Network. I'm very pleased to announce that I will be partnering with the Sports History Network to give away 2 copies of my latest book called Bears vs. Cardinals, the NFL's Oldest Rivalry. To enter, just head over to the following link, sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. We hope you'll enjoy the numerous stories in the book, which is largely based on the newly released Dutch Tournament collection at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Dutch was the co-owner of the early Chicago Bears with George Halas and kept correspondence, financial records, and scouting reports, which now allow us to peek into the management of an NFL club during the first few years of the league's existence. Along the way, we'll meet unusual gridiron characters from years gone by, including a quarterback who could throw the ball farther behind his back than he could throwing it forward, a Bears lineman who was such a good tavern fighter that he decided to enter the boxing universe, and a Cardinals halfback who gave up the NFL rushing title by deciding to not show up for his team's final game of the season. And can we forget the time the Al Capone mob interrupted a Bears-Cardinals game? The new book was fun to research, and I hope you will enter our free contest today. Once the winners are selected, we'll be in touch regarding shipping as well as to inscribe the book personally for you. This might make a perfect gift for Mother's or Father's Day, or simply add it to your own personal collection. Once again, enter by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/giveaways. Thank you and good luck.